Unfortunately, I've just been technical issues today. The lead lamp's just broken and other bits and pieces, but that's the repair panel to the door which I did yesterday, and it's okay. It's a little bit rough, but it's all right. It's with a little bit of shaping. The main thing is that if the shape isn't quite right, you can put shape into it using a set of hammer and dollies. Just very carefully, you can shape it that way. And if it's slightly too low, you can always just use a skim of bog. Like I can tell you there, where my finger is there, that's a little bit high. But we can shape that down with some dollies at some point, and we can just get that shape right. But the main thing is it's nice and solid. But after I did that yesterday, I took the seat out, and when I put the car together, it was a bit of a rush job. And it's quite interesting to see some of the horrific welding and some of the horrific repairs which were done. Now, where the finger is here, and I'm going to splice in a picture about now. Right, hopefully there's going to be a picture in there for a few seconds of showing you what was there yesterday. And I think the picture showed that there was a panel which I thought had been welded in, but it turned out that it had been put in with some weld, but somebody in the past had run filler into it. Well, anybody who can weld knows that actually filler's more hassle than welding, because if you've, and the fact that somebody had welded it already in place a little bit just left us slightly bemused. Anyway, so again, this steel is 1.2 mil, which is thicker, which is nice and thick. At some point, the floors are going to need changing on the entire car. I've been told they're not massively expensive, and with the pit which we've got, we should be able to. I might not have to flip the car over on its side. What I might be able to do is weld them on top and weld them under the bottom. So that might actually be easier from our point of view. Anyway, so that's something which perhaps I'll get to do later in the year when I've got more money. This repair panel here, I don't think is massively bad. I mean, it's actually not a bad repair panel, but whoever welded it in deserves to be shot. I mean, there's been more pigeons than Trafalgar Square here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind this lot back, where I'm showing with the torch now, if I do it that way, and I'm going to grind this lot back, and I'm going to re-weld that later on. So it's just really a question of just making the car nice and safe. I mean, we know that the seal structure is good because I put the seal structure in, but that, yeah, with old cars, I mean, I was chatting to our landlord and he said he encountered cars which had been brazed, or some of the stuff on this car had been brazed as well. So it's just a question of just encountering old stuff. So I'm going to tidy up the welds here. There's a patch, there's a hole there which needs welding in as well, which isn't really a big issue. That's just, I can get a small bit of plate and just put a bit of plate across that. And this is where the seat sits, and you can see that the seat is worn here as well, just on this piece. So I'm going to just put a piece of steel across there to strengthen that up as well, because you can see the fatigue, you can see it's been fatigued. So yeah, just little things. And then hopefully we'll get back out and we'll start tidying up this area again as well, which hopefully you can see that way. I'm not going to be wearing my flip-flops. We'll actually be putting my safety boots on in a minute. So yeah, I'll hopefully get back to you soon and give you another update. Well, I'm back again, and I think I just showed you the two patches. Well, with the patches which I put in, and that's one there. There is one there, and there's a little one there. Now this patch in the corner here really, I mean, there is a sort of, I'm using MIG welding, and because I'm a skinflint and I'm only using, at the moment I'm still using disposable CO2 bottles, but even so you can still get a half decent weld out of it, as you can see here. You know, I mean, if it was Jess's welding, it'd be wonderfully pretty and it would be very artistic, but mine is more sort of functional but less pretty. But that's good penetration. And here, this patch at the back here had basically just not been, I mean, it was hardly attached at all, really. I guess what I should have done was just replaced it all, but for the minute, what I've done is I've just welded it in a bit better. Not because it isn't structural, I'm not too worried. Some of the welds aren't brilliant because I'm basically welding into rusty shit, but that's just technical terminology. But anyway, but that just makes that a bit better. So yeah, so that's a little bit more structural. So yeah, it's a question now of tidying this lot up, putting an angle grinder to some of it, making it a bit prettier, then I can carry on with the quarter panel on the back. But yeah, we're getting there slowly. I've been repairing up, having done the floor, I thought I'd take a look at the wing section here. And I did this lot, I rushed this car last year, and it's okay, it's solid, but it isn't perfect. You can see a little bit of the inner wing, which at some point this wing's gonna have to come off properly. I can get in there and tidy up. There's been a small plate put in there and bits and pieces, but anyway, so what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can put the lamp down somewhere. You're going to stay there? Maybe that will work. Right, what I'm going to do is I've cut a piece of steel in here, and that piece is going to go in, and I'm going to do what's called stepping it. Now, I've got, thanks to my very, very good friend Alan, who unfortunately is having a big workshop clear out, there is this tool here, and if you can see there, that has a stepped edge to it. So what you do is you put the sheet of steel in between those grips, and then that will give you a nice edge to butt up. So when you're welding two flat plates together, it gives you a nice edge to weld up to, and it makes it a little bit thicker. It's not going to be best long term for rust, because rust will still get on the other side. It can sort of get dampened on the other side, but chances are at some point I'm going to be replacing the bottom of those wings anyway, so I'm not that worried about that. I'm going to the bottom of there, I'm going to there's panels for like 15 or 20 pounds each, so I'm going to get 2 of those panels simply because mine aren't very good. So yeah, it's going to provide a new joint. Anyway, what I'll do is I'm going to take a quick break. I'll run it along this edge, and next I can show you this panel just as a trial fitting. Okay, this isn't going to be the greatest repair patch, but then, like I said, at some point I'm going to get it in. Because you can see where I bent the panel, I cut the other panel out, and this one I bent the panel up, and it's created a stress in the panel, so it wants to sort of keep bending up anyway. So what I'm probably going to do is weld up the edge at the front edge of it, weld it along the base, and then I'm going to weld along this top edge, tap it, weld it, tap it, weld it, tap it, weld it, and hopefully we'll get to show you the results later on. Cheers! This isn't the prettiest job I've ever done, but considering how it was, it's a lot more tight, and this is with it not being ground back. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a quick video of it, and then I'm going to grind it back and run a flap disc over it, and we'll see how nice it looks. But yeah, it's a lot more solid than it was, which I think is the important thing. So yeah, let's see how it looks like in a minute. Oh, well, I've just thought I'd give you a quick overview. I'm going to do some painting in a second to cope with it, to paint, not to paint, but I've got some Hammerite, sort of like red oxide primer type stuff, which I'm going to be using. Mainly because I don't really want to get this lot left. This sill needs a bit of a brush, but it's, the interior, again, needs a bit more brushing up. If we really need to get a small vacuum cleaner up here, but yeah, it's beginning to sort of look something like it should do, and I think I am genuinely quite pleased. This catch is slightly out, which will bring that door in, but it could be a lot worse. So hopefully you can see sort of, compared to how it was, this is so much more solid. And we've got a little piece down there which I've blobbed in as well. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sort of paint this lot tonight, because I've got to go and do the day job tomorrow, and it means that tomorrow I should be able to put a top coat onto it and basically sort of make it look a lot better. It's I mean, this big patch at the back still doesn't look brilliant, but then, you know, new floors at some point. But yeah, I'm quite pleased. It's been a busy few days, but this little car's worth it. This little car is special, and this little car is definitely worth it. So yeah, it does make it quite a bit stronger. Anyway, I'll give you a quick overview in a minute when it's been painted. Well, hopefully you can see that this is looking okay. I mean, I know that this car still needs quite a lot of work doing to it, but now, sorry, bad knee. But you can sort of see that hopefully it's all looking quite a lot better than it was. And if I bring that way, you can hopefully see that the car, compared to where it was, at least it's a lot more solid. And oh look, we've got this beautiful young lady coming up who's now going to get a tail wet. Oh, I have to move. Anyway, yes, so hopefully you can see the car's looking a lot better. And so, yeah, I'm pleased about this. I suspect that this young lady's going to want me to say hello to her. So, come on, Minky. Meow. Come on. Jump up. Come on. Jump up. Oh, there you go. So, with a careful editing shot, it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from her. And I hope you've enjoyed this.